Boy oh boy, are we going to be finally getting one of the biggest patch of every region, the patch that finally drops our Archon. Yes, and this time around our lovely Furina is going to make her debut, as well as the other rerun characters. So those of you who have been saving up for these characters are going to be having quite a lot of consideration regarding your specific pools. And so as usual guys, in today's video, we generally cover the most important video of a single patch, looking into the character that's going to be coming, and as well as giving my personal advice in terms of which character would be best suitable for you to be spending your Primogems and pool on patch 4.2. But first, I'd like to thank today's video sponsor, kokenshop. If you're someone who usually top up in Genshin Impact yet finding it to be rather expensive, then check out kokenshop, where you have the ability to buy the Primogems package at least 10% discount. How they work is very similar to Gifted Coda Shop and Razor Gold, plus they have collaborated with many large YouTube channels, so we're certain the process works. They have many games options including Genshin Impact, Tower of Fantasy, many other mobile games, and is adding Honkai Star Rail in the future as well. And if you wanted other specific gift cards, they are available too. For more information on kokenshop guys, check out my link in the description. Thank you very much kokenshop for sponsoring this video, and now let's jump back into the video. So as usual guys, how the video will go is that I'll be going through all of the 5-star characters that are coming in patch 4.2 and covering basically their most important notes you want to keep in mind regarding these characters, so that of course you have a refreshed idea of what the character is once again before you actually decide to pull for. Right, first off is our lovely Furina, who's going to be the newest 5-star introduction in Fontaine, and boy oh boy is she's going to be an absolutely insane character. Now guys, I won't be going through too in depth into what Furina does and her skill and kit here in this video, because assuming you have already watched the live stream, you can kind of already got the info of that already. However, I'll just quickly go through it once again. Is that what Furina basically does is that she's going to be a sub DPS character for you, as well as a character that have insanely high buff level to your entire team. Her E skill will continuously decrease your team member HP until they reach 50% HP, and when she's in Uzia, her E skill damage can increase up to 140%, and when she's in Numa, Furina will be healing your active character during intervals. And while at this as well, her E skill will also summon 3 Salon members, which is where her sub DPS power comes from. But what's also insane about Furina is where it comes with her burst, because with this she's also able to give you up to a 75% damage increase, which is absolutely nuts. So yes, that in summary is basically what Furina does, and as you can already see, she is shaping up to be an insane character that is introduced in Genshin Impact at this point in time. Now obviously she's not officially released guys, but there are a few things that we can deduct from all of the footage that was shown in the live stream. Is that first of all, I would say that most of the time Furina is going to be preferring running in a double hydro team rather than she being a sole hydro character, especially with her running alongside with Yelan, because from the look of it, Furina's hydro application would be below Yelan and above Kokomi at this point in time. So yes, she might not be able to apply enough hydro if she's the only hydro character on your team. Of course, if you do want to have her as a sole hydro character, then yes, that would definitely work as well. Obviously, I wouldn't say that's going to be the best optimal thing to run with her, but do note that all of her attack buffing will still be able to take effect regardless of what team she runs in. Now, regarding her buffing uptime, do note that she is a character that will drain constantly HP on your whole team, and yes, her buffing do requires that your team member HP to be above 50%. So healer character that that have a whole wide healing capability for the team, especially character, you know, such as Bennett, Jean, Kokomi, for example. They are going to be absolutely valuable on Furina's team. Especially, I would say Jean at this point in time, she's really good. You know, character like Barbara as well, if you're running free to play. Yes, those kind of character would be a valuable asset on Furina's team. So that's going to be a big consideration on your part regarding which character to run. I know that some of you may be asking, why would you need more of a specific healer if Furina is going to be able to heal? And I would say that Furina healing is not going to be enough, guys. In order to make use of her buff in the most optimal way, it is really the best thing to have a specific healer to run on your team. But overall, guys, I would just say that Furina is going to be a very powerful character, not just on the sub DPS side, because on the sub DPS power level, she's basically on par with Yelan, not to mention all of the buffing capability that she has. We can already kind of see how important toward the meta Furina is going to become. With the introduction of Furina, she isn't really here to actually devalue the Hydro character that have already been released, especially Yelan and Xingqiu, but she's just basically there to actually buff their standing to an even higher level than what they already have right now, because yes, Furina would love to have Yelan and Xingqiu on her specific team, which is absolutely nuts. And she's also have been able to give a huge buff to so many different characters. Obviously, I will be discussing more of this on a different video, otherwise it takes too long on this. So definitely Furina is a huge factor toward the metas upon her release. I can't really see too much of a downside toward Furina at this time, guys, because everything she's capable of doing is just really good. Probably the only thing right now is that maybe of her limited team build, because as I've mentioned, she prefers to have a double Hydro team. Obviously, we have to test more on that on her official release, but that is going to be most likely the case. But still, that doesn't change the fact that she can be on any team and works decently well, which is really good, guys. Next up, we have Baizhu. He hasn't been back for quite some times now, and I know that there are many Baizhu fans out there who have been saving up for him. So yes, definitely this is also a perfect chance to get Baizhu. But of course, you know, Furina's right next to Baizhu right there, so that might be a difficult choice. However, here's the thing with Baizhu, guys, and I would say that he's a character that can actually work on Furina's team, because as you know, he's a very good healer and a Dendro healer to boot as well. So Baizhu can work in terms of synergizing with Furina's element as well as giving healing for her team. We all know that Baizhu in terms of Dendro application department is not the greatest, and he's actually quite bad at it. So yes, mostly regarding to Baizhu at this point in time is he's going to be there doing very good job of healing for the team, which is something that Furina's love. Now, if you don't have Furina alongside with Baizhu yet, then yes, Baizhu himself as a solo character at this point in time is still valuable if you do actually decide to pull for him. And yes, generally regarding Baizhu, apart from discussing about his healing capability, there aren't really too much to mention about him. Next up, we have Cyno, and I would say Cyno power level is still holding up in terms of if you want to pull for Cyno, he is still going to be able to deal very decent damage for the team. Obviously, because you know Electro is being backed up by Aggravate and Hyper Bloom, and those elemental reaction teams are still some of the best team in Genshin Impact right now, which is really good. However, there are a few things to note if you are deciding to pull for Cyno, is that Cyno best team, guys, is absolutely very expensive, because now with the release of Furina, you would want to have Cyno run in a Nahida, Furina and Baizhu team, and yes, that is an insane number of investment coming out of that. Whenever you're playing Cyno as well, there are a few things you want to note, because Cyno is a character that performs really well depending on the content, because he's a character that doesn't really work well whenever your enemies are too easy or die quickly. For example, if you're running him alongside with Nahida, and Nahida is a character that is pretty bad when it comes to wave of enemy, because you will have to constantly recast her E skill, and considering Cyno is a character that depends on his burst and have a longest burst uptime dependent in the whole game, he requires at least around 13 to 15 second on field uptime. So yes, whenever you're having Cyno running in a group situation where he kills off the enemies too fast, now you're out of Dendro element for Cyno, and you'll be stuck there doing only pure electro damage on your enemies. Top that up with some of the other downside he has has like, you know, he constantly knocks things around, seeing things, and obviously getting interrupted because he does not have super armor and kind of requires a shield if he wants to perform really well. It's something you want to consider as well. But overall guys, I still say Cyno power level is still pretty good. So yes, if you are still considering for him, he's gonna be a decent pull. And then lastly guys, we have Ayato. Now when Ayato was released, he was considered to be a pretty decent character with his E skill being able to do a lot of damage, and he has access to a lot of good teams. However guys, I just have to put it straight at this point is that in the current meta, after there have been so many good hydro characters being released, if you're considering Ayato as a meta character, his value is dropping down non-stop, because especially when we have character, you know, like Yelan, Nuvelet, and especially when Furina is coming, there are some of the hydro characters that is able to basically does everything that Ayato can and a lot better. They can basically run in a team that is similar to Ayato and do a lot more damage than he is able to do. So yes, that's the toughest thing about Ayato at this point in time. For his element hydro is a very competitive element at this point in time, but obviously if you're still pulling for him just for preference, then yes, there's nothing I can say about that, because whenever you like a character, yes, just go ahead and pull for them. Especially with Ayato gameplay style guys, his E skill is absolutely insane. As usual, I love the attack animation. It's really rare to have a character that is able to do that. So yes, playing around with Ayato is really fun. And so guys, I would say those are some of the most important points you want to note regarding the 5-star character that are coming back within patch 4.2. And now we'll be discussing the most important question of the patch, which is which character should you be pulling for in patch 4.2. And obviously guys, this is going to be my personal opinion, so you can decide to follow with me or not. It's totally your choice, but this is something that I will be personally be doing if I were to be making the decision myself. And that in the first place, this definitely goes without saying, it's gonna be Furina. Don't really have to discuss too much. She is just too good guys. Just pull for Furina and I can basically guarantee that she'll make your account a lot better. However, in terms of priority guys, there's still something to note, is that do keep in mind all cons tend to have pretty early reruns. So after Furina's banner come, she will most likely be back within like 3 patches or something. So you actually don't really have to wait that long. And for example, if you are considering some of the characters that are having rerun right now, then I would say they are actually a little bit more important on your pooling value list, since we don't know how long these characters are going to be back. It might just be a year or actually a year and a half down the line, considering there are so many 5-star characters that are coming out right now. So yes, that is something for you to consider. Then second place guys, that is going to be for Baizhu. As I have mentioned, Baizhu value is still up there. He's an absolutely really good healer. He's a Dendro character that can be fit into so many different teams, helping you to achieve Dendro resonance a lot easier. Plus he's a character that works perfectly well on Furina's team too. So yes, that is a plus about Baizhu. Afterward, that's going to be Cyno. Of course, his power level is still there. Definitely, if you're considering Cyno for meta wise, he's still holding up his place pretty decently well. And then lastly, it's going to be Ayato. He's more or less going to be a preference character at this point, because as I've mentioned, so many good hydro characters are out at this point in time. So if you're considering meta, Ayato cannot hold up currently, and yes, he's more going to be for you to have some fun and play around with his E skill and attack animation, and that is still going to be pretty good. So guys, that's basically everything I have to say regarding the 5-star characters who are coming in patch 4.2. I hope that was a very valuable video that you have got. If you do have any question guys, leave it down in the comment section and I will get to you there and help you out. Now guys, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, as I will be posting a lot of updates and guides regarding Furina and any of the content that's coming out in patch 4.2. It is a very important patch, especially when it comes to, you know, like the meta changes and stuff. There are a lot of things to keep out for. I really appreciate you guys staying with me till this part of the video guys, and with that I wish you a super day and I will catch you on my next video.